Hey everybody, it's me, 2015 Anthony Dodge. Welcome to a new episode of the Model Train Outsider. Since future me or current me to you, or however it works for you, has not been doing any shows lately, other than starting his own show without me, I thought I'd go ahead and jump in and start an episode. Since he's not here, somebody's got to fill in the space. Anyhow, today on this episode, I'd like to... Oh, shit. What a long day. I could use a drink. Left the door open again. Move over once, move over twice. I said, honey, don't be cold as ice. Separate travel on the one after 99. Took the bag. What are you doing? I'm making a show. Since you stopped doing shows, I thought I would make a show. No. This is my show. My job. I do this. Well, you're too busy making your other shows without me. Somebody needs to talk to the Model Train Outsider people. Somebody needs to let them know what's going on or what's not going on. Hey, I've been busy. I got a lot of other things to do besides just working on the layout table. I don't need to explain myself to you. Or me. We have fans out there. 100 subscribers, I hear. I've been doing a little bit on the layout recently. You've been ignoring these amazing 5 or 10 people that actually tune in and watch these videos. That doesn't matter. You get out of my chair. That's my chair. I do the show. That's my workspace. I built it, not you. That's my place. I'm here. What are you going to do about it? No, I can move you. Oh, wait, not again. Ah! Oh, I hate when he does that. See? Told you. You may have bought the camera. I know how to work it and the editing program. Fine. Have it your way. You left me the beer, though. As good as I remember. Sometimes I really can't stand myself. I know. Sometimes I can't stand you either. But I've learned to forgive you. And maybe you should learn to forgive yourself. I'm talking about you. And your point? Never mind. Anyhow, this is episode 21 of the Model Train Outsider. I have been busy. I started another series of videos for Miracle Enthusiast, or wannabe Miracle Enthusiast. I have actually been asked by more than 10 people, so I consider that a request, to talk about Miracle. So rather than repeat some of the things I've talked about in this, I created a separate show. Anyhow, what have I done? Well, just little bits. I'm sort of in a holding pattern because a colleague at work is making the pillar supports for my roof structures for my Delmenhorst station. He's doing this in his class that he teaches. And so this is done outside of his classroom instruction. So he's got a couple of students that are advanced students who get their work done quickly, and they work on my project when they have time. And so, yeah, I'm waiting for that. I have been doing a little bit of work on the other things. I've had a couple of trains I needed to repair, just minor things. A couple of things in the track I've been working on, and I've been working on cleaning the tracks. Just I haven't had a lot of time in the basement lately. But I have done some things. First of all, I'll show the little excerpt videos from it. I installed the platforms for my other station, my Bremen, Hanover pseudo station. Just for fun, on my Delmenhorst side, I put some people and some machinery and some signs up, just using that tacky wax stuff, because things will probably have to be moved when I go to put in the roof structures. The Delmenhorst roof structures are rather basic, banal. They're not really anything exciting. Very workmanship style, 1950s, post-war Germany sort of. And they do have lights and everything in the roof system. The signs, the digital track announcement signs and everything, all hang from that canopy roof. And so I can't really do the actual stuff until I get the pillars in. Also, I've had a couple other things I've done. I've picked up another locomotive, a Deutsche Bahn BR-101. I got this from Andrew Chevalier at AC Euro Trains from Stockton, California. He's the same guy who did my Railjet, both the locomotive and then converted the cars that I bought in Germany for me to AC. And recently I did a running session showing off my Railjet. He did an amazing job. It's gorgeous. And after 2 years of fussing around, I finally have an actual complete Railjet set. Anyhow, I will do a running session with it once I get some cars, which I'm actually planning on picking up while I'm in Germany, because we are going to do some train shopping in Germany.
You are going to get some trains and stuff, right? I mean, really, some trains.
Yes, we are doing train shopping in Germany. I told you this already in episode 20. It's one of the main things we're going to do is some more cars and maybe a couple of logos for my layout, trying to complete a couple of trains. So anyhow, let's take a look at some of the quick videos I put together about the small updates on the layout, as well as that Pico BR-101.
Right. Something else I did here was along my platform, I went ahead and put some people and some signs in. This is temporary. They're all attached with wax. So, but just give it a little sense of advancement, because I am still waiting for my colleague at work to make the arch supports for the rain covers, the roofs that go over the platforms here. I was hoping I'd have them by now, but that's part of the delay, because I really want to get the station finished. But at least I gave it a little bit more life and business here. Okay, I have just finished painting my 5 platforms that are going to go over there. Now I started off with slats of wood exactly like this. This was 1x3, and then I shaved them down to the desired width on my table saw. One of the pros and cons in comparisons is a lot of people like to use MDF or FDF, the various really multi-fiber boards, and they're easier to paint and they look smoother because you're not fighting the grain of wood and any nicks and dents in it. It's a preference thing. There isn't one is definitely better than the other. There are pros and cons with everything, but the problem with MDF is it can warp if it gets wet. And if you're in, like this is a climate-controlled basement, you probably don't have to worry about, but even moisture in the paint, or you drop, a cup of coffee or something on it, it absorbs it, whereas the wood will resist it. All right, so we've got the platforms in, and we've checked. As long as I don't run my Railjet on this fourth inside line, it'll be fine. I might just take this platform right here back out and shave off 2 inches because my railjet would usually be running these 3, and it's tight here and tight there. I would never run it on this line anyhow, the 5th inside line, because that's a R2 radius curve there anyhow, and I don't like running the railjets. But otherwise, everything seems to be lined up well. Now I just gotta build the actual station and build the giant canopy roof, and of course put all the details on the platforms. But at least right now I've got them in, and we'll add some life to them as time goes. But for now, that's all set up. I was using my railjet cars to test all the corners because they're the ones that would have the most problem. That's why they're disconnected here, just in case somebody says, why are those cars disconnected? I took a couple out of the middle and we're using them to check corners. And everybody else can handle the tighter corners, but my Austrian railjet cars are longer and don't handle tighter corners as well. So I'll probably just bite the bullet, unscrew this because everything's screwed from the bottom, and I will shorten that down by maybe just an inch. But otherwise, I'm happy with how they look. They've got kind of a dark gray concrete. I'll be putting in lines, the security lines, once I get enough of the tape, because I am going to use a tape rather than try to paint them in, just because I don't paint well anymore. Alright, so this is my new Pico BR101. This is, as I just mentioned, by Pico. It's their hobby level, which is their lowest level, their cheapest level, their low price point bit. If we come in close, you can see compared to that Czech railjet, not nearly as much detail up here on the top or the pantographs. Typical of any German company, they're going to make sure they get all the lettering and signage down here, all the advisories and what have you correct. But I will say that the shell is a thin metal as opposed to plastic, but everything else is plastic, including this lower level here. These buffers were very cheap. I accidentally popped 2 of them off just taking it out of the box. They're not an advertisement for quality, put it that way. This has nothing to do with the gentleman. This is Pico's low-end stuff. I mean, this locomotive retails for about $100, $120, depending on where you get it. In Germany, I could probably get it for about $95 from my one shop. But as you can see, it's a BR101, and I'm not going to show you too much more until I do a running session with it. But this is the high-speed train locomotive for their second-tier high-speed trains, their ICs, as opposed to their super-fast ICEs. Although it's not train-related, I thought I'd share this with you. All my life, I was into military wargaming. I used to do HO military wargaming because when I was a teenager, I didn't have a lot of space, so I used to build dioramas with HO scale. Actually, they were HO, 00 scale, the Airfix. So if you're one of my friends in England, you know all about the Airfix mini soldiers, but I used to do that. Then I moved up to 25 and 28 millimeter. And finally, in the late 90s, well, I shouldn't say late 90s, in the 80s, I'm a huge Tolkien fan. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, except I hate the movies, but I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and my entire life switched over to doing Lord of the Rings military battle games. First with Citadel and Harlequin miniatures, and then Games Workshop released figurines based on the movies, but they released them in massive numbers. So I've gotten rid of all my other wargame and diorama stuff, but I've kept my Lord of the Rings and some of my medieval stuff. But just to let you know, this is when I was much younger. I could paint very, very well, I think. You can look at my Gandalf here and see the detail I used to get into my figurines. But that was long before arthritis kind of tore me apart. Some of the last figurines I did definitely don't have the same level of detail. It's so much harder for me to paint. Normally I just get sort of a tone, but yeah, we have well over 1,500 soldiers, orcs and Haradrim and Rohirrim down here. But this was my hobby for many years, and it's kind of, we still play actually. We just played about a couple of months back. My son and some of his friends came by and decided they wanted to play a few battles, so we did real quick. But this was my hobby for years, and moved some of my game boards. We just set up a table and we can play, although my train table's taking up most of the battlefield. But you can see in here I got my Balrog and my trolls and just sort of other things. I got an Ent and so forth. But yeah, one time this is what I did in painting. Probably, I at one time probably had 4,000 or 5,000 HO scale figurines I painted, and I've got, like I said, about 1,500 Lord of the Rings figurines painted here, but unfortunately in the last 10 years, arthritis in the fingers, nerves, it's kind of a family thing. My father and grandfather both had them, and they were skill workermen. My father was an electrician and a plumber. My grandfather was a tool man, tool and die maker, and a machinist. So they were very fine, skilled people. I unfortunately did not inherit those skills to the level they had them. But that's what I used to do. And now it's model trains. So I go from one expensive hobby to another.
All right, so that's what we've been doing lately. For now, I just want to say have a happy Easter if you celebrate. If not, enjoy your weekend, and we will see you back for the next episode. Hopefully I'll get a couple more in before I leave for Germany at the end of May. And I will definitely be, on the flip side, doing a couple of Miracle Outsider shows as we talk about Miracle C-Track and some of the things connected with that. So anyhow, it's great if you tuned in. If you enjoy anything we're doing, even the silliness between me, myself, and I, share, subscribe. We'll see you later. Bye. But I'll find a way to get in those shows yet.